night. Here we go. Gearing up for hype night. I'm just kidding. No, we're not hyping tonight. There is so much to talk about, though. Lots to talk about. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Weather Center Nazario's 8 p.m. Tropics Talk. We're going to do more than talk tropics. We're going to talk about this giant blob of a mess that's affecting all of the Southeast. We'll let some folks join in. Well, if you notice, I also have my live subscriber count in the top right corner. We're going to monitor that as we go through the stream. Maybe we'll be able to hit 4,000 subscribers while we're in the stream tonight. You never know. We'll see, Lord willing. We're on the home stretch. It's been a grind to try to get to 4,000. My channel's been kind of suffering for the last month or so, especially as I've tried to step out of the tropics, but it doesn't look like it's time to step out just yet. So yeah, let's say hello to everybody. Who we got in the chat so far? Ramesh, hello. Carmen, good to see you. I actually don't have my water on me. Excuse me. I had my amino energy from a little bit ago that I was sipping on, though. So, I guess I'm kind of hydrated. Sharon, welcome back. Good to see you. Miss Leah, hello there. Robert, hi there. This is going to be yet another important and epic live stream. Yes, it is, actually. This is going to be a very important one. We have a lot of different dynamics to talk about, and I'm not even joking. I actually have my notes here, so we can hopefully hit everything on the nose and talk everything, not only over North America, but in the tropics as well, because they're going to go hand in hand together. By the way, I'm not sure if he's in here yet. To a Mr. Daniel Butler, he left me a few comments on my videos earlier mentioning that he just got word that he was diagnosed with a level of cancer. He obviously did not disclose to what extent that is, occurring, but I'd like everybody who views this video, this live stream, after we conclude, and for those of you in the chat right now, to please send all of your positive prayer energy his way. And I mean that with the utmost sincerity, because cancer is no joke, and if that's a real thing, then prayers be with him, sincerely and genuinely, guys. Please emanate that energy in his direction. Everyone getting wet tonight? Yes, Sharon, that's what it's looking like, at least the southeast for sure. It looks like southern Florida hasn't seen a whole lot just yet, but it's on its way. Raining here in Jupiter, just a light rain. Yeah, we've been getting some on and off sprinkles over here in the Polk County area as well. We haven't had any of the severe stuff. I know West and East Coast Florida have had some tornado-warned storms. Oh, Daniel's in here. There he is. Daniel, okay, welcome in. Good to see you. Yo, Doff Boy. Griffin, welcome back. It's clear in Homestead. That's kind of a good thing. Good evening, my fellow Floridians. Larry, good to see you in here. How close are we? Hello. Zenful, hello. Hey, Naz, hope you're having a great evening. So far, so good. It's been very, I'll admit, it's been humbling but exciting at the same time to see what's going on out here, because I think, let me go back into my comments real quick. Somebody had mentioned it earlier, and it made me feel humbly good. Bobby Jensen 4071, many weeks ago, you called for a Friday the 13th storm in Florida. You were really close. Good work, bud. Very good stuff. Here we are. It's Wednesday the 11th, and this thing's going to be kind of clearing out by Friday the 13th. So we were close. Daniel, there he is. Amanda's in the house. Very good. Dion, good evening. Nazario has entered the chat. Hi, everybody. Brooke, hello. Good to see you again. Nazario, I sent you a very useful video on Discord. Alex, I'll make sure to check that out. I apologize for not checking my Discord as often as I should. Boss Lady Mama, hello there. Will South Florida going to get a storm? Tommy, it looks that way once we can start to get into the south portion and the backside of this system as it moves its way through. Right now, a lot of it is just being dumped into the Gulf Coast. And this is actually a lot more rain than a lot of our models were indicating. If you guys remember, when we pulled up our Euro charts and the GFS, a lot of it was going to be like right in through here. So to see all this spreading up into the areas of Tennessee, North Carolina, pretty much covering all the Gulf Coast states and a little bit of Louisiana for that matter, like this is a big entity. This is a big storm. Obviously, the severe weather doesn't span that far to the north, but nonetheless, shoot, that's a massive wave of rainfall. So, yeah. There's Daniel again. I'm missing the chat. I gotta keep going with the chat. All right. And send you the prayers. Send Daniel, praying for you, Daniel. We're here to help you, Daniel, if you need anything. Yes, guys. Yes, definitely. Keep pouring on the vibes for sure. I'm in Napoleonville, Louisiana, and it's pouring. Yes, definitely. I can see that. They're getting a lot of good rain out there, especially the eastern half of Louisiana, which is good, though. I'm glad that Louisiana and the Gulf Coast are seeing all this rain. This is going to help those drought conditions. I'll steal a power glitch here, really. 4 more subscribers. We're getting there, guys. We're almost there. When do you think will be the peak will be for Manatee County? I live there and curious. Ethan, a lot of it is going to happen overnight, unfortunately. My friend Gabriel and I'm not sure if he's going to join in tonight, but we were joking around about that behind the scenes. For a lot of folks who haven't been really tuning into all this, there are going to be a lot of people who, because it happens while everyone's knocked out tonight, everyone's going to think, oh, look at that, nothing happened. It was all hype. So, Caribbean still out of the picture? Not necessarily. Like I said, we have a huge area to talk about. That's for sure. Helena, away from Belize, will be praying for you. Wow, first off, welcome in, Helena. Thank you for joining us from Belize. Very good. And thank you for your positive prayer support. Yes, everybody, Daniel, it goes without saying, you have a lot of us behind you, buddy. We're all rooting for you, and we're sending as much positive energy as possible. How long until we see storms in Miami-Dade County? So honestly, because we're losing the sun, a lot of this stuff is probably going to remain as is until we get into the early morning, mid-afternoon hours of tomorrow. That's when I would anticipate we're going to see a resurgence in our thunderstorm activity. This is something we're going to cover. I'm just scrolling through real quick. I'm going to pull up a high-res model so we can get a closer look at what's expected to happen across Florida. But we're going to get into those probabilities. I don't know if you guys saw that, but the probabilities are looking really off the chain. Like, we have a large area to keep an eye on as we go into the back end of October. All right, so here's our latest HRRR. We'll go back to 22Z since that one's fully loaded in. And you can see a lot of it is still going to inundate the panhandle, and the worst of it is actually going to be moving in for us through the day tomorrow. You can see this is 15Z, so right around the lunchtime tomorrow, and then we're going to start getting the worst of it during the day tomorrow as that low begins to track off to the north. We're going to have all the south side wraparound stuff that's being pulled in by the subtropical jet really amping up our severe threat, which is why I'm glad that Storm Prediction Center brought out, or extended out, I should say, that severe threat for everybody. Is there worms in your water heater? I hope not. How long until we see storms? It's going to be a good old slobber knocker, folks. Also, have you seen the soundings? They look insane for Florida overnight. Yes, there's a lot of overnight instability, and that's what's dangerous. In my video earlier today, I made sure to bring up our tornado parameters, and it's not looking too good, especially for West Florida. Daniel sending positive energy. Daniel, prayers are with you. Do we have much information where Sean might go? We do. We're going to get there. I promise. Trust me. We're already 8 minutes in. We'll get in there here in a second. No weather in South Florida, I don't think. Not just yet, Broad Bill, but it's coming. As you can see, it's getting ready to work its way through, and there's going to be a secondary band that comes along the backside of it as it tries to tug north. You never say like and subscribe on your videos, and it is bothering me, Jennifer. I used to say that. When I did my full-on intro and outro, I used to say that and add some cool little graphics. Maybe that's why my subscribers have been slowing down and not joining the party as often. Folks are in for a rude awakening. They better start subscribing and following to the best kept secret in the meteorology world. Larry, big ups to you. I appreciate that, homie. Big Ben taking it. That's for sure. Watching from Long Island, you have the best reports. Clean image detailing. First of all, Clean Image Detailing, giving me some nostalgic feelings for the car scene. I miss that for sure. I love detailing myself. Pleasure to have you joining us from Long Island. You guys have been getting the hammer up there as well. We've been talking about that here and there on Weather Center. Pierre, welcome in. All right, guys, so we're talking what's happening down here. It goes without saying that things are just going to continue to get more and more intense. Do we have any of the severe parameters on here? We don't. Unfortunately, we don't. Let's go over to College DuPage real quick so I can show you guys what's going on in the low levels of the environment that has me concerned for what happens tonight and into tomorrow. So obviously, we've seen the simulated reflectivity. The HRRR is right on the money in terms of its simulated reflectivity, which is excellent. This is what we have to be very concerned about. This is the significant tornado parameters for overnight. And if we track this out, what time is it right now? It's 8 o'clock. So we are at approximately, I have my little cheat sheet here. I was very familiar with Zulu time out west. So we're at 0Z right now, that's 8 p.m. 6Z is going to be 2 in the morning. And look at how much of the tornado parameters go up along the coastline. That's 2 in the morning, guys. And as we go to 3, 4, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., we could actually, that's even worse than what it was showing earlier. Dear God, that's a lot worse than what it was showing earlier. That's not good at all. That's actually, we could have a lot of folks in the same general area as where Idalia made landfall, waking up to some really good tornado potential. That has me a little more concerned. I kind of wish I could make another update video or a YouTube short showing all this information, because even here in Central Florida, as you go through the day, look at how the tornado parameters, they hang out over North Central Florida, and they continue to linger even as we go through the middle parts of the day tomorrow. That's going to be our main threat. Like, see, one of the ooh, look at that, 4,000 subscribers. There it is, guys. We made it. Definitely, I was hoping maybe we'd hit it on Friday the 13th, but you know what? I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. Now watch, somebody's going to unsubscribe. How much you want to bet? But this is going to be dangerous for tomorrow morning and overnight, because, see, a lot of folks, they decided to start downplaying this situation because National Hurricane Center doesn't have it highlighted anymore. And you know what? I'm going to air that out a little bit. I'm getting upset watching different social media figures and YouTube personalities now casting everything. They go on to, this is what's highlighted, so that means this is happening. Oh, it's not highlighted, so nothing's happening. And it's getting very tiresome, because look at that. That's even worse than a lot of the stuff we've seen most of the year here in Central Florida. There it is. Somebody unsubscribed. Somebody unsubscribed. I saw that. But thank you guys. Thank you very much. 4,000 subs strong. And you know what? I'm very excited to have you guys along for the ride. That's for sure. Yeah, no, I have not honestly seen that intense of tornado parameters out here anyways. That stuff you see in Tornado Alley. Dang. All right, guys. Wow, I see how you do me. Not you in the chat, but shucks, there it is. We're down below the threshold again. Somebody thinks I'm hyping up. Either that or someone's playing with the subscribe button. But that's pretty intense. That's more than what we were seeing earlier. And it's going to continue all the way through till about, we'll say, 8 a.m. So post-sunrise, we're still going to see tornado possibilities all the way through the Daytona Beach, just south of Jacksonville. So we're really going to have to watch closely. I'm going to be up early in the morning between 3, 4 a.m. to check the radar, check what kind of active alerts we have going on. Because that's kind of lethal right there. That's more than what I saw throughout the day today, that's for sure. But this is just one piece of the puzzle. I'm going to switch my mic, too, because I keep having to look back at the chat. And there we go. Let's move my mic over here so this way I can actually look at the screen. All right. I'm going to go ahead and enlarge this. Thank you guys so much for the 4,004 subscribers. Fantastic. That's such a great feel. 4,003 subscribers. Let me not jinx myself. Anyways, we're going to put that on the back burner, and let's move into another piece of this segment. So as everyone is well aware, we have Tropical Storm Sean and Invest 94L out there. This one, I'm very, very thankful that National Hurricane Center did not hesitate to put that on their charts. Maybe they're watching Weather Center, and I'm just kidding. No. I was kind of roasting them yesterday because I was worried that once again they were going to be late to the game and very latent on issuing something with this when all the models were screaming in our faces that we could definitely start seeing development. Let me move this over so I can see the chat a little bit easier. All right, close that. So these are our two areas in question, and I'm not going to lie to you. As we go down the road, this area still seems very ripe for activity, very ripe. And we're going to take a look at some of our 12Z Euro probabilities. I love using those tools for long-range stuff, but they're slowly but surely seeing incremental increases in how much they're thinking we could see tropical cyclone development. So let's get on over. Let's go over there real quick. Here is the model viewer. So this is our 12Z data for the Euro. And as you could see, we could possibly have another named storm coming off the coast going right towards Bermuda. That is something I neglected to mention earlier today in my video, and I do apologize for that if I have any viewers in there from the Bermuda area. I know you folks tend to tune in every once in a while and blast it out in the chat. So Bermuda, we're going to start shifting gears once this can get up out of our neck of the woods, because it looks like you have a chance to see either Tammy or the person, I forget the name, I apologize, either Tammy or right after Tammy coming towards Bermuda again. And then you can see the probabilities are off the rails for both our systems. I mean, we obviously have Sean out there, and then we have this with an even greater potential of development over the next 72 hours. And as you go through time, what I want you guys to watch is look at what happens in our Caribbean. So at 168 hours out, right about the same time the Canadian and the GFS wanted to spin something up, we start to see the Euro model start to amp up its probabilities. And I mean, it stays in the marginal realm, but then look at how you go towards the very tail end of the run, and it's almost as if the entire Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, East Pac, and then up into the Central Atlantic are starting to light up for probabilities of development. And so that's what has me a little on edge watching what happens over the next 7 to 10 days. Because at this point, this is 23 October. It is only the 11th, so we have to watch what happens as we go over the next 5 to 7 days, I'll say, and we get a little closer in time to all these probabilities. Because the Euro has the natural tendency to back down or be a little more frugal in its probabilities as you get towards the very tail end of its runs. Jonathan Sal, 3 or 4 a.m., between 3 or 4 a.m. for sure. 3, 4, between, I'd say the hours of 2 to 6 a.m. is when we're going to have our highest tornado parameters coming together over central North Florida. Ethan, I can definitely do that. Daniel, I'm so sorry to hear that, man. My heart just sank reading that comment, dude. I'm very sorry to hear that. Wow. I definitely send all the positive love and support that I can give to you, dude. I don't know who you are. We've never met. We may not get the chance to meet, but trust me when I say that with every bit of sincerity or sincere fiber in my body. Like, I don't like hearing that stuff. It really does. I'm a very emotional person by nature, so you know that. Anyways, Ethan, yeah, I'll definitely leave the. Sorry, I gotta collect myself now. I'll leave the link in the chat. I'm sorry, guys. I'll leave the link in the chat. This is weathermodels.com. It is a paid subscription, though, so be prepared for that. Hi, Fiona. Nah, I hate wind shear. Tropical Storm Arlene 2023. Tropical Storm Arlene did some random stuff up there off the coast of Florida, went south, and then just died. Hurricane Fiona 2022. Not going to lie, Arlene, you're alone there. Tropical Storm Arlene. What is happening in the chat right now? And then we have Hurricane Nicole. Wrong year, 2023. Stop beefing. The Caribbean, the Bay of Campeche primed it for tropical activity for sure. The water's still really hot. Not a lot of upwelling. I definitely agree. So yeah, this is one area in particular, or I should say a whole region that I'm watching that I really wanted to talk about today. And then you shift gears and go over to our ensembles. And the ensembles don't look any better. You go through time, and then you can see that Euro is anticipating, for the most part, that Sean is going to dissipate. And then you see our next feature, 94, coming in hot towards the Caribbean. And if it gets strong quicker, obviously, we know through experience it's going to hook north. But I'm really not a fan of how many ensembles are indicating a major, major hurricane out of that. And then even down the road, as it gets into the Caribbean, more and more want to keep tracking it to the west. So the trends have been more and more to the west. Like, that's the whole thing in a nutshell. As we've gone through time, like, I've been noticing in sequential fashion, it's gone from out here, it's gone from out here, it's gone from out here, and now you can see that we have ensembles going all the way out, getting a little close to Cuba, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Bahamas, and Florida's right up next. And then you can still see we have an area of very minor ensemble agreement as something coming out of here and punching off in this direction. So there's actually a lot of areas. Now, granted, we're in the full speculation mode. We're definitely in full speculation right now. None of this is concrete. We're mainly just theorizing at this point. But the reason I'm a little more concerned is while we theorize, we have all of this to watch. It's not just a single focal point there, a single focal point there or there. We have all of this area to watch, and that's what's going to have me working overtime. And I already feel myself getting tired thinking about it. We'll switch over to the GFS ensembles, and the GFS ensembles, I posted them on my Instagram earlier. They don't look very better, or they don't look much better, I should say. We go to the tropical Atlantic. We'll probably wait for 18 Zulu to come in at the tail end of this live stream. And you go through time and you can see that we have a lot of ensemble members out there firing across the Atlantic. We're still getting some activity out in the Caribbean, right in through here. We have a tremendous amount of model agreement that there's something developing out in the main development region, as well as Sean continuing to truck off to the west. And the GFS is a little more sinister. I mean, you could see stuff getting real close to the southwest or the southeastern tip of Florida. There's a couple of ensemble members that are finally skirting the coastline right there. And that's been the trend over the last few days. I kid you not. We'll go back to 12 Zulu yesterday, and you can see, see that big difference. This is at the very tail end of the run. I haven't touched it. You can see that we went from, we'll go ahead and highlight it for you guys so we can see the margin of error. We went from here, and then we'll switch back to the today at 12Z. Look at the difference there. Let me go to the very back end of the run again, and then I'll use my black ink. Now we're out here. So we have a huge cone of uncertainty, as we like to put it in National Hurricane Center terminology. And what's really going to dictate what happens here is going to be what happens over the United States. And that's what I'm going to be very, very closely investigating, because today the GFS was a huge outlier. It was doing some funky stuff, and, I don't trust it. I definitely do not trust the GFS. In fact, I trust the KMA more than the GFS right now, just based on what I'm seeing. It's been the only one that's been doing its own thing. Everyone else has been very consistent in its depictions, but GFS has been doing wonky crap. Let me get back in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of different things. Can you check the 12Z Euro we did? I will stop makes. When is Hurricane Kurt? Why is Nicole here? I don't know. I'm scared. Nicole was like a year ago praying for you, Daniel. Yes, we are all, Daniel. We are right here with you, dude, for sure. I'm so distracted. My weather notification just said 51% chance of rain at 10 p.m. in Miami-Dade. Yep. What is the most overrated tropical system of the year? Shucks. I want to say Philippe. Philippe was the most overrated and hyped up of them all. I'm putting it out there right now, because you know what? Brett and Cindy came real close to the Caribbean. In fact, Brett went right through the Lesser Antilles, and I don't remember a whole lot of coverage on Brett. And Brett was an actual tropical storm that just coasted right through and kept moving. Philippe was definitely hyped up just because of the Fujiwara effect. And a lot of people didn't know what it was going to do because they were tracking it run to run. They weren't looking at trends. They weren't looking at environmental conditions. And, that one was definitely hyped up. And then no one wanted to listen when I mentioned that we had a switcheroo go on. That stuff that went straight into the Northeast was not Philippe, guys. I showed you on the live stream. Philippe went out like this, and he was gone. He got vaporized. That other system was our cold pocket that went right back up into the main jet flow and merged with that polar vortex over James Bay, Eastern Canada. And I will never back down from that. Everybody can say to date that it was Philippe that blew up over the Northeast. It wasn't. I'll take that until I'm 6 feet under. Let me see. Nicole, you were unexpected. Very. Yeah, bud. This Cape Verde system is still going strong. Unusual. A little unusual. Usually by now we're seeing the African monsoon start to calm down, but it hasn't just yet. And I've been looking at that on CPC. Their global monsoonal forecast product has it tapering off at the beginning of November. So we could see one more, if not two more waves. It looks like we're going to come really close to wrapping up the named list, or the main list of the names, because we have this that's more than likely going to form. We have another system that's more than likely going to form down here, so that's two names right there. I think you guys dropped it in the chat. What was the one after Tammy? Was it Vincent? I think I read. Let's see. All of you are unexpected. Why are you talking, Arlene? You musty sheared what the heck? La Nina failed us. What's up, guys? Miami had some rain this morning and afternoon. Matthew F-150, welcome in. Nicole, I kind of did it to you too. Where did wind shear come from? What is happening right now? I don't even know what's going on anymore. I'm like trying to watch Nazario, but no, I want to listen to the Hurricanes Beef Center. Is anything expected for Trinidad and Tobago? Yes, absolutely. As that system moves off to the west, you're definitely going to have to keep an eye on it. Invest 94, soon to be Tammy, unless the system coming off the east coast beats it to it. That's going right towards you guys, Trinidad and Tobago, for sure. Definitely got to watch out closer to the Leeward and Windward Islands, all the Lesser Antilles for that matter. And Yeah, and further west from that, because you can see we have quite a bit of good agreement that there's something going to try to track up in through there. Hurricane Dorian was the most agonizing storm for the East Coast. I agree. I'd honestly pay to see some tropical cyclones fight each other. Cackles in Floridian. Oh, God. I invited Belavin. Oh, Lord. Belavin is a super typhoon out there. Or no, a tropical storm, one of those two. Gosh, I'm starting to see why Mike's weather page is moderated the way that it is, because now I have no idea what's going on in the chat. And I think I'm just going to focus on the weather brief as opposed to looking at what's going on in there. From there on in, anyways, we'll switch over to our Icon model, because the Icon is actually being the most aggressive with that system out there. At 12Z, you can clearly see that upstream low, that invest area, deepens down quick and starts going tropical storm in no time, well before it makes its way to the Lesser Antilles. And then what's amazing to see is the fact that now we're seeing the Icon spinning up a very weak low pressure center in the Southern Caribbean. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye on that and see if it starts to trend. Because if it does, that means we have another model in agreement that we could see some activity down there. Whether or not it tracks off to the north towards Florida or towards Cuba, Cayman Islands, Jamaica remains to be seen. It's still going to take a couple days to see that far out with the Icon, but definitely worth monitoring. And then GFS 18Z is doing some very weird stuff. So on the 18 Zulu, if you look, the GFS has brought back our Caribbean system. It brought it back. It's down there once again, and it comes out of the Caribbean, goes over the Yucatan Peninsula, and then it gets knocked to the east, right over top of Central Florida as another rainmaker like we have going on right now. I have to go to the bathroom. They closed Disney for Dorian. All right, guys, let's focus on the weather. Remember, he has lots of info tonight. He ditched. Typhoon Belavin is a 180-mile-an-hour typhoon. I'm going to sleep and get better. This is Daniel signing out. Bye, my friend Daniel. Good night. Am I the only hurricane that loves Nazario? No, but Mike's weather page is very like dictatorship. Yeah, I still can't believe that I actually paid for a super chat. I paid for a super chat today and cordially asked for, a possibility of maybe talking a collaboration, because I think it's a great idea for the viewers and a good way to just share knowledge, and I got completely ignored and booted from their chat. So that was very discouraging, not even lying. And I know that some people may take it like I'm throwing shade. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just explaining how it went down. And it was a pretty big disappointment for me, because I figured, donating into the channel would be a great way to get noticed and not take away from his live stream, because, I'm contributing. And, it was very discouraging to see that I got completely wiped from the board. I got moderated right out. You're better off sending an email asking him to collab. Yeah, probably Zenful. You're right about that one. But yeah, it's had its up and downs. Today has had its ups and downs. There we go. Almost had an aneurysm right there. But the main takeaway here, guys, if you watch, even at 18Z now, the GFS is doing something really wonky. Like, look at how it kind of sucks that future Tammy right out to sea. Possibly Tammy. I mean, it looks like it's trying to develop the system coming off the southeast faster than future Tammy, so that could be Vince right there. But it pulls it right up and out to the Atlantic as we get inverted trough after trough. And look at this just distorted mess of frontal activity right in through here. Like, that's why I don't have a whole lot of faith in what the GFS is doing right now. Like, some of it is making sense, but I'm not entirely on board with what it's doing across the North Atlantic. Some of it just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. And literally none of our other models are indicating that. So I don't watch Mike's anymore after they did what they did. Are you talking, Miss Lee? Are you talking about earlier today? She's a tough mod. Yeah, and what I feel bad airing this out. I really do. I feel bad airing this out because I know that this could possibly circulate the internet, but she went on to mention you guys as well, that you guys are very obnoxious in their chat, and was almost very subtly accusing me of mentioning to you guys to go in there and hype up my page, and I really didn't. I X'd out after that. I got ignored, was told that I need to stop self-promoting, and you guys are being very obnoxious over there. So, I don't know. It seems the forecasts are less accurate this year. Natalie, I agree. I mean, we've definitely had it's been a very erroneous year altogether, and I think that's what has to do with it. Because each of our computer models, on the base level, they have climatology built into them. And because we've broken so many climatological rules this year, that's the number one reason we're seeing so much of, such a large margin of error with all of our computer models. We've had a very anomalous environment across a lot of the northern hemisphere. I mean, couple that with it's supposed to be an El Nino, so there's supposed to be even worse conditions for tropical development across the Atlantic, and that hasn't happened. So our models have been consistently playing catch-up since day one. And I think that's also what's happening here is they're struggling with the hot water temperatures, so it's affecting our jets, it's affecting the different streams and the eddy currents and the loop currents and all the other little incidental dynamics that go into the thermodynamics behind just the ocean. And because water actually does play a role over what we see inland in the different frontal activity, the different shortwave trough activity, ridge activity, etc., like there's a lot of things going on. Forgive me for ranting. Ethan's life, hey, great job on being our weather guy. Question, if we get a hurricane here in Florida, what way would we use to communicate? That's tough. That's a good question. I would recommend Instagram because I'm very active on my Instagram. I'm constantly talking to a few of you guys who message me through there. Instagram would probably be my easiest bet, especially since I don't message on Discord very much at all, and I do say I'm sorry again for folks who've messaged me on there. I'll try to get better at it. Alex Baller, I was the Hurricanes. Also, here you go. Sorry, people don't recognize you. Alex Baller, okay. Oh, thank you for alleviating that. The mask comes off. It's like Scooby-Doo unveil the ghost moment right there. Any reason why GFS has sort of a bad reputation? So the GFS, it's not a totally bad model. It's just because it's programmed to go so far into the future, it loses its accuracy quick. It loses accuracy at about maybe the 150 to 185, maybe 200 hour mark. Once you get beyond there, like all this happening out there, if you notice, once you get to 200 hours, everything looks okay out there. Everything looks structurally sound across most of Canada, United States, the Atlantic. But then once you get past 200 hours, notice how all of a sudden everything just like goes into chaos. Everything's blowing up and going all over the place. Like we have a stationary hurricane randomly at the end of the run in the Gulf of Mexico just sitting there. So that's why the GFS gets such a bad rap. If it was a shorter range model, it would probably have a better track record and be a lot more accurate. I love you better than Mike for weather. I even invited my friends here. Well, they want to see the hurricane beef. I love how you don't just focus on Florida because cough, cough. Don't be discouraged. You do so well on your own. People will be asking you to collaborate before you know it. Well, thank you, Carmen. That means a lot. I appreciate that. Lord willing, that's the goal. It's not about the notoriety or the subscribers. I mean, I love you guys. I mean, don't take that the wrong way. It is about the subscribers, but when I say subscribers, I mean like the count and all that. I work very hard on all this stuff, and it's been tiring me out. And I'm not going looking for a pity pat or a pity party, but dang, I'm working my butt off over here, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, honestly, but like, dang, I'm like not even joking. I can show you. I have notes upon notes upon notes. Just stuff that I'm writing about, all things, tropical, mentioning all things tropical, trying to get a better handle on things, writing down notes for my videos, and so on and so forth. And, if I could do this full time, it'd be a lot easier so I can really settle in and use all my brain power. Because I'm noticing I'm starting to cut corners and my titles and my thumbnails are going down a little bit because they're looking a little more sloppy. Let me see. My entire science class track Dorian for some reason at my private school got all of us to write to the people in Bahamas. What about the Canadian models? What do those models have to say about the disturbance? You're doing great, Nazara. Keep going. It's been a long day for a lot of us, but knowing the weather makes it better. I agree, Diva. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, ma'am. I really appreciate that. It's been an active day for Florida, watching the tornado warnings pop off this early in the run of what's going on. We still have another about 18, 24 hours until this is all over with. When they deleted my comment. Oh, that's right. I remember that. They completely scrubbed you out of the chat entirely as soon as you mentioned how I've been. All you did was say that I've been discussing it. That's it. It wasn't promoting. It's just you mentioned that I'm seeing the same thing and ba-bam. Scrooge McDuck. I had my own run-in with Miss. Yeah, unfortunately. I seen what she said. I don't like I was living up everything seeing him. Yeah, like I said, I mean, again, I promise, guys. I promise I'm not throwing shade. I'm not attacking. I'm not trying to be belligerent or obnoxious. I promise. Mamas, where you going? All right, bye. Since this is a recorded video, I swear I'm still a fan. I still like the material. I would definitely still be open to a collaboration. I get that that's probably maybe not the best forum, like Zenful had said. It's probably best I do that offline as opposed to in the comments, because I can see if you're prepared for people self-promoting and all that, I can see how, from a professional standpoint, it could be taken as, who is this random jerk-off in the comments asking for this and that? And it's like, that's not what I meant. I genuinely donated a couple dollars. It was a $5 super chat, nothing crazy, but, I donated for the sake of not only having the comment highlighted, but to show that I mean business. It was a cordial little, hey, I'm showing support, and it'd be great. I've had a number of my viewers suggest it. I think it's a great idea. I've been watching since Hurricane Ian, and I'd love to, do a collaboration, do a little live stream together and just talk weather and shoot the breeze. Start developing those connections. And it was such a bummer. I watched him read it, and he just, completely ignored. Completely. I think she deleted some of my comments, nothing to do with promo. All that is Naz's jealousy. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to do my best, that's for sure. Hey, Nazar, you may be better off trying with Ryan Hall. Let's see. I mean, if he does live chats, I wouldn't be opposed to doing it. Like, I'm not even kidding. When I say everybody out there, I'd love to get him on here. It's about communicating the best message that we can. It's not about who's the best, because there's always somebody who's going to learn more and know more. There's always someone who's been doing it longer than you. It's what we used to say in the car scene, at some point, somebody's got a faster ride. Somebody has more money. Somebody has more horsepower. Somebody has more clout, So it's not about that. Will we see anything in Tampa? Absolutely. It's on its way, Ramesh. It's on its way. That's for sure. El Nino is prevalent in the CONUS, but no the tropics. Do you think Sean will make it to the Gulf? Not Sean, I don't think. And if he does, like the GFS. The GFS has been mentioning that it could make its way through the Caribbean islands is nothing but a remnant low-pressure system. So it'll be interesting to see how it could maybe influence the pattern with all these high-pressure systems coming off the coastline. And by the way, guys, while we mention El Nino, I wanted to bring this up in my video earlier today, but again, because I have so many different things going on at once, I wanted to focus on the heavy hitters. I'm watching across the south, and it looks like our next big El Nino system is actually getting ready to come out. Definitely textbook El Nino too. This is 12Z Euro, and if you watch right in through here, I'm going to go to College of DuPage in a second because it shows it a little bit better. Let me use a better pen. So right in through here, if you watch coming across with that subtropical jet, you'll see at the very back end of the run, there it goes. There goes our next El Nino system coming through. It's a little harder to see on precipitable water because all you're seeing is the frontal system right through there, but it's coming. Let me go over to College of DuPage real quick, and I'll show you a little closer look. Let's go to the Euro, delete, southeast. Actually, no, we'll just leave the CONUS view up. We'll go CONUS, continental U.S., and then we'll go precip. And then you go towards the very tail end and watch what happens. There it is. There's our next El Nino system. Look at that thing. Boom. So October 21st, we could definitely see something else coming right out of the Gulf and hitting us smack dab upside the face. Like, that's a textbook El Nino system right there. So, we have trouble in the tropics, but we also have El Nino trying to give us a nice Mike Tyson left hook across the face, because this has also been trending on the Euro as well. You go back to 0Z overnight, and you can see the same thing coming across the southeast. Boom, even bigger and even a worse depiction at 0Z. Look at that thing. That's a monster. You go to 12Z yesterday, and it was there again. You go towards the very tail end of the run, and then, well, you kind of catch it. It's coming in right there. So, yeah, we have another El Nino system on the way, that's for sure. That is textbook El Nino right there. So we'll start talking about that as we get a little closer in time. That's October 21st. In fact, I kind of want to look at the rest of the Euro. I didn't really digest. Wow, yeah, look at that. Let me zoom in on that. I didn't really digest the 12Z Euro model, but, damn, pardon my language. But that's a big old El Nino system coming right at us. That's another round of severe weather, and then look at that. Euro-deterministic model has Tammy, if not Vince, going right through the Lesser Antilles as a tropical storm. How did we get there? I really need to start looking at some of these models a little bit more. Okay, so I see what's going on there. Euro does have something pulling out of the Caribbean, right about the same area that the CMC does, and it has it merging with that next frontal system. So we're going to get smacked right upside the head for a knockout punch very soon by another El Nino system, and then we really have to watch Tammy down there. Although looking at this, depending on where that frontal system tracks off, we have a front right in through here. We have fronts along that. If that continues to track, if it goes to the north, that could be problematic for Tammy. If it continues to move like this, then that's going to, of course, suck her up and move her out to sea. So there's a couple different possibilities with this scenario right there. So we'll definitely have to watch that. El Nino's coming back, and we have more activity in the tropics. So to answer your question, Ramesh, yes, absolutely. Tampa's definitely going to see stuff. Since he was on CNN, I've switched to Nazario. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. Sounds like a battle of the weather dudes. This is like Ron Burgundy. Anchorman, I love that movie. Alex Ball, you should return the Hurricanes. I'm sorry I'm boring you guys. Excuse me. Return the Hurricanes. So we do weather observe, we learn. I'm loving it. That's how it goes with NFL fanboys. They all collaborate and do wise video chats with everybody getting involved. You were trying to collaborate, and we were just making simple points about the video that he displayed, and then Mike and his started deleting everybody's, and that's not right, chat. I hope it doesn't rain. Yikes. That's a Colorado campfire if I've ever seen one. Absolutely. Don't be discouraged. Stay your track. Yes, you got it. That's the point. I'm doing my best, fighting the good fight. The GFS keeps bringing up another Yucatan-based system. It's going to get interesting next week. Yeah, there's a lot of areas that want to pop off. There's a lot of areas. It's going to be a very interesting second half of the month of October. Because you know what? If you look out there in the Pacific, too, look at that. We have this, we have that. And then coming out, pulling another Lydia and a Max right there at the very tail end of the run, you can see another East Pac system going backwards. I still can't believe I made a video about that. I'm surprised no one actually mentioned hype. Because I'm sure you guys watched that video, and I'd mentioned we got stuff going backwards now, and that's literally what's happening. They're not going north like they typically do, like we saw with Hillary earlier this year, going up the Baja Peninsula into SoCal, Desert Southwest. They're literally going backwards. They're going against the pattern. That's how crazy this setup is right now. So Florida is going to be inundated, whether it be tropical systems or not. We're going to have some very active weather. Dare I say it, Halloween might even be a washout, and that makes me sad, because I hope we get a lot of trick-or-treaters at the house this year. I just recently moved into a neighborhood, and every day I go to the gym and come home, I always see all the little ones lined up outside for the bus, and, you know, I want to dress up and give candy and just embrace the Halloween spirit, and I hope it's not a washout. I hope we're in between systems. I hope this can scoot through, I hope that scoots through, and whatever the heck Tammy does, I hope that can all scoot through, and then we're crystal clear for October 31st. That's all I ask. We can get hell and high water the 21st through the 30th, but then the 31st, just give us a break. That's it. Theodore, that's rain. But the storm following Sean catches my eye with the Azores high forecast. Yep, Reagan, I agree. That's why I've been hyping it up. I've been mentioning it, and I'm glad that National Hurricane Center jumped on the opportunity to highlight an easy formation. I was worried that they weren't going to. And then the best part about it is, even though I was talking about it before National Hurricane had highlighted it, and I was calling it, and I'm coming out with the confidence right now. I'm taking the humble shirt off, and I'm putting the confidence out there, because I've seen it again and again and again. I'll go in there and mention that we're watching formation. Formation is coming, and every other person out there, everybody will mention tropical wave, maybe. I'm going full send, guys. You ever see that Danny DeVito meme? So anyway, I started blasting. Like, that's it. Like, whenever there's weather out there, and I can see it coming a mile away, I'm just gonna start blasting. I'm getting tired of people waiting and kind of like, are you gonna highlight it? Are you going to highlight it? Because I don't want to say anything. I don't want to hype up if nothing's... Okay, they highlighted it, guys. Now we can hype it. No. If it's out there, say something. See something, say something. I'll never stop saying that. What's up, Nazarian friends? Just joined from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Aurelia, you definitely want to keep an eye out there. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you guys are on my list of areas of responsibility to monitor as that system comes through. You can probably see it on this overlay right here. Potential tropical storm working its way through the Lesser Antilles. And what has me concerned is this very potent 1023 high up to the north there. So even if it doesn't make it as far as Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Cuba, and Florida because of this massive system coming through, we're still going to see a large area of land possibly impacted by this. Not just our Antilles, but the ABC Islands to the north of South America. We got Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. Could come very dangerously close to Jamaica, Cuba. Like, this is my earliest prediction. Just looking at this, can't really see too far out. And then what's very interesting to note is what's going to happen when this makes its way in. Because this gets very interesting. Because if everything just continues to funnel off in this direction and that high stays strong, like let's say, for instance, this low pressure wants to ride the backside of that high. In fact, let me see what the jet's doing before I continue with this hypothesis. Yeah, see, that's that's a building ridge. That's a very big building ridge. So that's going to be... I'm just going to say it's the cliche statement, but that's going to be interesting because we have that jet max rounding the apex of the ridge, deepening the trough. Trough's digging in over the southeast, mid-Atlantic states, or I should say the Mississippi Valley. And then we have this ridge starting to blossom along the southeast. So that storm definitely has a potential to move a little bit further to the west. However much further to the west, it's still a little early to call. It could do something like this. It could do something like this. If that ridge can really balloon up and slow this trough down, there's nothing saying it can't go all the way through. There's nothing saying it can't go all the way through, especially with that massive anticyclone over Central America and the fact that we have all this energy getting attracted out there. So as it stands, depending on how far this system tracks, the tunnel for range of motion, my personal trainer's coming out, the tunnel for range of motion is right in through there. That's our kind of margin of error. Damn it, I didn't want the blue pen. I wanted the yellow pen. That's our margin of error right there. That's what I'm thinking. So I can understand why that there's a little bit of a westward bias with each updated ensemble members or ensemble run we get. I'm very curious to see what 18Z says. We have about 10 more minutes, and then we'll check it, guys, and then we'll start wrapping up the stream. I know some folks have been mentioning shear, but honestly, all the shear is going to be to the north. That's what I've been talking about last few segments. This is where all of our demolishing shear is, and you can see it coming out of an unfavorable environment and going into a very favorable environment, especially with that upward vertical motion in the IE name of the anticyclone out there. So we'll definitely have to see what happens. That whole area is ripe, though. It's ready to go. Let's see if we have 18Z in now. Why not? Let's take a look. Let's go over there. Let me get back to the chat while we're looking this up. Round 2 next week. Yep, we're already at the last 2 names. Yes, we are. Yeah, we're getting close too. We're on the home stretch, and we just might hit a home run because probabilities are going real high that whatever's hitting us right now is going to fully get a name once it gets closer to Bermuda. And then obviously Tammy and/or Vincent is right there on the horizon as well. You saw the probabilities on the Euro earlier for that secondary system, 94 upstream of Sean. So we have one. I think that's it. We have one name left after that. Let me go see real fast. Where's my keyboard? It's over here. We have one name after that. 2023 hurricane names. Let's see. Whitney. After Vince, we have Whitney. So Whitney is the only one that we're kind of not seeing anything for yet. Tammy and Vince, I do believe, are on their way. Whitney is the outlier, the wild card. Wild card Whitney is what I'd call her if we do get development. That's the wild card right there. So we'll see. And then next year we have we have Isaac is our I storm for next year. I'll have to watch for Isaac a year from now. But all right, let's see if we have 18Z ensembles in. And before I open them up, oh yeah, we do. There we go. The very tail end of it again. Okay, so see, I don't understand what's going... The GFS, this is what I don't like about GFS. 0 and 12 show something totally different, and then 6 and 18 blow up. Like, look at the difference here. Now we've gone back to the west. or the east, I should say, with all this. So we're still looking at, very similar track with Philippe, dare I say his name, but now look at all the activity we can have coming out of the Western Caribbean headed towards Florida, Cuba, Cayman Islands. Like, make up your mind, GFS. You go to 12Z, totally different. You go to 6Z, and now we're back to hyping up the Caribbean and the same thing. Then you go to 0Z, totally different again. So I don't get it. I don't know what the GFS is doing. Let's see. With advert to protect Messi in Florida, welcome. Brick, I lost the chat again. I think Tammy might get to Cat 2 or 3 possibly. You never know. 10 more minutes. Ignore the white noise. No need to defend yourself. Nazario, what is the scoop on the tropics? Just got on. There's a lot of stuff in the tropics, Isaac. A lot of stuff. We're talking almost an ocean-wide AOR to start monitoring. But real talk, if Tammy hits Florida, the parks and rec memes are going to be glorious. Theo, Whitney, H, 2 left. Whitney, the only replacement for a W name. Me, Whitney Houston, the Hurricane. Isaac is my son-in-law's name. There we go. Already hyping Isaac. Yep. I'm calling it right now, guys. 2024 forecast, a year out. Hurricane Isaac smacking Florida right upside the head. Not the Whitney memes. Yeah, that's coming big time. My friend and I had a lot of fun with the Nigel memes. Smashing. GFS is on an acid trip. Honestly, for real though, Dark Earth, I agree. Isaac, Cat 5, 2024. I'm going to hit Florida as a Cat 100. Evacuate now, guys. Yep. Year out preemptive evacuation. Let's all move to the Midwest. Hey, David, Steiner here. Looks like the GFS changed its forecast based on weather balloon guidance at 0 and 12Z. Hey, are you still Lieutenant Steiner, or have you promoted, sir? Because it's been a hot minute, but welcome into the chat. Good to see you. Yeah, no, I'm noticing that it changes quite a bit. I know that the 0 and 12Z runs are definitely our hot model runs. I tend to put a lot more faith into those bad boys. It's always interesting how it flip-flops its emphasis at 6 and 18Z, though, because at 12 Zulu, we had a lot more emphasis put on future Tammy and Sean out there with a little bit of marginal agreement coming out of the Western Caribbean. And then you look at the very tail end. I don't know why it does this. You look at the tail end of the 18Z, and there's actually some members out here indicating something in the realm of a Cat 2, Cat 3 hurricane coming out of the Western Caribbean. One of them going towards New Orleans, ironically. That's a little bizarre. I don't have a lot of faith or confidence in that, but still a tremendous amount of agreement for our 2 cyclones out there in the main development region as we speak, though, so that's holding true at least. Well, congratulations, Captain Steiner. For those of you who, obviously, I always say that for those of you who aren't aware. For those of you who are absolutely not aware because you didn't work with us, I used to work with a Lieutenant Steiner when he was senior duty officer at the 25th OWS out in Arizona. He was in charge of our operations floor whenever we were doing all of our forecasting during either our 8 or 12-hour shifts. Congratulations on making captain, so that's exciting. Very good news. I'm glad to hear that you're thriving and surviving. One of our better SDOs, honestly. He's another one I could talk weather with for a long period of time and actually gave us a number of good weather briefs and continuation training during our time in, to include discussions on oscillations like La Nina and El Nino, as a matter of fact. My backyard fan got smashed up because of her, and the window coverings and sidings of the house exterior still coming off of Miami-Dade. See any tornado potential? Miss Leah, I would, I don't think you guys are going to see tornado threats or tornadic threats down there as far south as Miami just because of what those SIG torn parameters look like. But it's not out of the realm of possibility once that frontal line comes through, that's for sure. The New Orleans track is probably a statistical track. I've seen a few of those. We actually highlighted one not too long ago on the Euro that had a Wilma-esque looking track for middle of October. Salutes in the chat. There we go, everybody. I can still render an appropriate salute on camera. What's the Korean model doing? All right, we'll look at the KMA real quick, and then we'll start getting ready to wrap up here in a moment. I still have to go eat something. I haven't eaten yet. That's how involved with the weather I've been and whatnot. We'll go all the way out to the tropical Atlantic and take a look at KMA. We'll go 12 Zulu, and if I'm not mistaken, the KMA doesn't do a whole lot with our upstream system. We have Sean out there, and then, yeah, you could see that the KMA really wants to make our possible future Tammy invest 94 an open wave, and then we do get something moving through the Caribbean, going into the Yucatan, and then reforming back in the Bay of Campeche, and then there's actually a second low. I'm seeing right there. A second low that tracks up through there, and then there's another East Pacific entity as well. So, I mean, regardless of what the tracks look like right now, because this is way out in the run, I don't put a whole lot of, prosperity into what these models do once you get past 200 hours. But the point remains that all of our models are still thinking that there's development possible. The Atlantic is definitely still priming its guns for another fireworks show closer to Halloween time. So I'm very curious to see. It's the 11th right now. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we have on our Friday the 13th live chat. I'm definitely going to have something special for you guys Friday the 13th, 8 p.m., so you don't want to miss that. You definitely don't want to miss that. Let's just say I'm dusting off a couple old hockey masks, and it might not be Weather Center Nazario starting the chat. I'll come in after a little bit, though, but, it might be someone else, someone special, someone iconic for the Friday the 13th. I don't know if you can call it a holiday. I guess you can say trademark calendar date. So, wait and see for that. I just ate pasta, burrito wrap hurricane. Sounds like a hype flip. A hype flip. Burrito cane. I like that, Elite Chief Stark. Keep doing your thing, David. Love the channel. Thank you, Captain. Thank you very much for tuning in. It honestly means the world to me when old coworkers can join in the chat and check in on how everything's going with the YouTube channel. This is like my last grasp of weather until I can finish my degree program. We're almost there, but for now, this is the next best thing, and I'm eating it up. It's been a lot of fun, and it's helping keep all the knowledge fresh, too. That's the best part. It's like my own little version of continuation training. So thank you very much, sir, for tuning in tonight. Can't thank you enough for that, as a matter of fact. So to recap, how many potential systems could form? Doff Boy, let me put it to you this way. We could finish the list. Let's put it that way. We could definitely see Whitney. All of our models are thinking that we could see further development in the Caribbean, and I know the Canadian model earlier today actually had something coming out again off of Africa. Let's go Canadian 12Z, and then we'll start getting ready to close out. So yeah, Canadian model, it's been very interesting, the trends on this model as well, because for the last few days, I should say for the last week now, it's been calling out that stuff in the Caribbean, albeit it moves it to the west now. It's pulling it towards central Mexico, the Yucatan, and maybe the southern periphery of the Bay of Campeche, the BOC. But last few days now, it really wasn't mentioning anything coming of Invest 94, and now it's definitely jumping on the ball with deepening it into a tropical storm as it moves through what looks to be more of the Leeward Islands and then sets its sight for Puerto Rico. And then at the very tail end of the run, it doesn't do a whole lot, but there is another little breakaway area of energy right in through here. You can't really see it because it washes out real quick. But CMC is thinking that there could be one last wave before Africa shuts down, closes up its doors. But yeah, there's your Canadian model. Canadian ensembles are still on track for something big coming out of the Caribbean, that's for sure. So, I mean, we're still just watching, guys. We're still watching long-term. Here's the 18th, or the 16th, I should say. There's our big thing. It's very interesting that the deterministic or the operational model wants to do this with a storm, but then all the time, every time I check the ensembles just drive them straight north. There you go. There's some more activity, another round of activity. And yeah, I mean, Canadian model is going all the way through the 27th, and there's still something big out there. So the rest of the month is going to be, exciting. The rest of the month, we can't let our guard down. Let's put it that way. We got to stay in the peekaboo stance and do our head movement and whatnot. And then over the United States, it goes without saying, we have that huge baroclinic wave that's getting ready to spawn in across. As a matter of fact, I should have asked Captain while he was still in here. I'm not sure if he's still at the 25th. I don't think he is. If they're looking at a bunch of severe weather out there over Western Conus. I may or may not be watching Friday the 13th OG on that day. I love Jason. Oh, yeah, if you're watching Friday the 13th that day and you pop into the stream, you might get a breaking the fourth wall. Let's just put it that way. See you tomorrow. Sharon Jackson signing out. Sharon, have a great night. Thank you for joining us once again. Junior, I see you up there. Thank you for joining us again. We'll see you again very soon. Any chance for a tornado watch in the Lake City, Florida area? Forgive me for broad brushing it. I've been in a nasty habit of doing that the last few days because there's so much to discuss. I would say anywhere from the Orlando area and north to the Panhandle, maybe even the Florida border, could go under a tornado watch and see some really good tornadic possibilities as we go overnight tonight. So you are killing it. Keep it pushing. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, sir. I actually have to thank you tremendously for joining us and supporting us. Because I remember at first you were mentioning that I was hyping up, but then you came around after watching a little bit of the material, and that means a lot. It's nice to see folks recognize and weed through the garbage and realize that, oh no, this guy means business. So I do. I take a lot of pride and excitement when I see you pop into the comments in the chat, Larry. Try our burrito cane. The Cat 5 special will blow you away. That sounds like a nasty Cat 5 trip to the bathroom after that. Let's be honest. What November looking like on average, it dead? You know, sometimes there are some very special instances where stuff can pop out of nowhere, as we learned last year in November, but, you know, we also had that special instance of it being La Nina. Welcome back, Daniel Zenful. Sounds exciting. It's very exciting, that's for sure, dear. Helena, keep up the good work, Nazario. Thank you very much, ma'am. I absolutely intend to. Caribbean needs to make up its mind. It really does. Burrito Cane trigger DEFCON 1. Orlando, Florida is dry right now. Slowly, when we're getting there, I'll pull back the National Weather Service radar again, and that's how we'll conclude the live stream. Let me refresh. So there you go. This is where all of our main activity is going to be. Once this stuff can move east, that's when things are going to get really hyped up out there. The weather itself is hyping up. Friday the 13th hype made it just in time to see you close this thing. There we go. Gabriel jumping in. Sounds delicious. Signing out. PEXTT, have a good night. The Canadian model is going crazy with hurricanes. It is, yeah. I mean, some of it, there's some realism. Others, I want to wait a little bit longer before I go hyping it up. Brooke, good night. Aiden, it is 9 o'clock. Thank you, my friend, Weather Center. So I say you are the best kept secret in the meteorology world. Thank you very much again, Larry. Thank you. I know I say a lot of thank yous, and I always mention very sentimental things, but it's the honest truth. It's very honest. I keep doing this every day, and I keep jumping into these streams, very excited to meet with everybody. It's always so awesome to collaborate and talk. Out of all the models, which is your favorite and which is the most underrated? You know what? This year, I got to go with the Canadian. I really do. I got to go with the Canadian because you know what? It's when I started my channel that Idalia was blowing up and coming out of the Pacific, and it was the Canadian that bullseyed it, like just straight up. Again and again and again and again and again and again. That run-to-run consistency is exactly why I went into my channel and was like, you know what? We're doing this. I'm going to start pumping out content, and we're talking about this. I remember that was my first big video. It was titled Hurricane Idalia. Big updates or no major updates, and it was a picture of me going like this because we've seen this before. And I remember I overlaid a picture of Hurricane Ian as the thumbnail, and when we got close, we had a major hurricane. So I gotta say, Canadian model won me over this year, that's for sure. And the Euro has been doing okay. I've become a fan of the Icon, that's for sure. I put a lot of faith in the Icon. GFS has its moments. It's not the one I look to first. If I see something active out there, I will lean on it to get a better perspective and just add it to my evidence, you know, but it's not one of the first models I look at. Let's put it that way. So to answer your question, Canadian, I would say Canadian has definitely gone up there. I go to the Canadian almost first a lot of the time, especially since we have that latency between when Euro populates versus the rest of our North American models. It's his loss because you an awesome weatherman. Don't ever give up. Jonathan, thank you very much for that. Ethan, signing out. Definitely, we'll see you soon. Why is it so clear in Miami? It's because a lot of that storm system has propagated to the northeast, and as it's hit the subtropical jet, you got to remember the movement, not the conservation, but like having another aneurysm. An object in motion stays in motion, basic law of physics. So it's moving like this, and as it's coming out of the Gulf and hitting the shear, it's kind of getting sheared apart like this. So the main mass of energy is still going up to the northeast, but as it's encountering that subtropical jet, it's getting sheared this way and expanding. So that's why it's going to take a little bit to get down to the southern Florida neck of the woods. Scrooge McDuck, absolutely, yes. I completely forgot about that, but the UK Met also. I do look a lot at the UK Met. The only reason I don't mention it too often is because for everything we're discussing right now, it's like at the 200-hour mark and further out. So eventually we're going to start roping the UK in, but I've used it plenty on a lot of my older videos. Euro is most accurate. So most of the time, it has its moments. Thanks for tonight. I've had a rough few days, but these streams just takes the stress away. I thank you all for that. Wow, Elite Chief Stark. We were all right there in the trenches with you, dude. That's for sure. We've all had our stressful moments, stressful bouts. I'm still stressed out as it is. I just do my very best to hide it when I'm with you guys, so that's very good to hear. It gets like more than 50% of the things right. Yeah, Euro is usually pretty good. It's just a little frugal sometimes. It's a little frugal, and that's my only complaint with it. Just like with, for example, Idalia. It was very frugal in its early depictions, and it really didn't do a whole lot with it until it finally started to get going. When will the tornadic activity start on Orlando? And not earlier tonight, but earlier in the stream, we were looking at about midnight to 2 a.m. is when things are really going to start to push inland. And then anytime between 2 to 6 a.m. is when things are really going to start heating up, especially Orlando and north. The further north you go, the more likely we are to see some tornadic activity. And I do think because we've seen warnings already this early in the game, we're only going to see more. Any tornadoes may form in the Big Bend area. Absolutely. That's also where we're going to see most of our tornadic potential or our parameters coming together. You had a Blaine Gritch. Get some rest. Yeah, it's just about time. See you later, buddy. I'll be up. Alrighty, Larry. Have a good one. We'll talk very soon. I'm sure of it. I'll be sad when the season is over. I've enjoyed these streams and I look forward to them. Found a new love for weather because of you and Mike's weather page. Doff boy, I'm very glad to hear that. Now, I'll caveat that by saying it's not going to be over when the tropics are over. We're still going to do these Monday, Wednesday, and Friday streams. I'm just trying to come up with something cunning to change the name. So we're still going to have our 8 p.m. talks, but it's not going to be Tropics Talk. Just like my intro in my videos is going to change from that hurricane, weather center Nazario, thunder sound to something a little more reminiscent of wintertime. So I'm going to keep going. There's just going to be some tweaks to adjust for the seasonal changes. How much do you bench, Naz? Oh, shoot. I'm coming off of a forearm and a wrist injury, so I think the most I could rep out right now, I haven't done a 1-rep max in a while. Last time I trained chest hard on a good night's rest, I was pushing for 6 to 8 reps about 250. 250, and I was doing dumbbell bench. I could rep out 100-pound dumbbells, 90, 100-pound dumbbells. But chest isn't my favorite body part to do. It's back. Back and legs and glutes, believe it or not, are my favorite body parts to train. Totally off topic. I know I'm going off on exercise rant, but I'm good to see that a nice little off-the-chain question. We had a NATO warning earlier around 5 here. I saw that, Ethan's Life. I did see that. 4.02. Like and subscribe. You should be doing this full time. Thank you, Jennifer. Have a good night. That's the goal, guys. Lord willing, if this can take off and get a little more momentum, I can start doing this full time. And Zenful, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's been awesome for those of you who have been around since the first 1,000 followers or 1,000 subscribers. It's been great having you along for the ride because it's been a learning experience and a learning curve for me as well. And 4,000 may not be much to a lot of the folks out there who've been doing the YouTube thing for years upon years, but I think as of October either 8th or 9th, we're officially 2 months in. So that means we've gained about 2,000 subscribers per month. That's not too shabby. I mean, if we keep that train going, that means that maybe by the time the new year hits, let's see, October, November, December, if I can get my act together and really focus and, pump out some really quality content, I definitely think that maybe we could set a goal for 10,000 subs as we ring in the new year. A little zealous. I know that's a little zealous on my part, but I mean, if you shoot for the moon and you miss, at least you hit the stars, right? At least I think that's how the saying goes, something like that. But all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and start taking it out or taking it down. It's taken me 2 years just to reach almost 700 subs. Ethan's Life, you keep going, dude. Social media is a grind, trust me. I mean, YouTube is one thing, but I remember it took forever and a day to get my Instagram to get up there. He was upwards of 17,000 followers on my car Instagram once upon a time, and then COVID hit, and I kind of pissed it away. So, is there another tropical disturbance? Yes, there's 2 of them out there. Well, there's Tropical Storm Sean and a Tropical Disturbance 94L upstream that we're really focusing on. That's going to be one of my top priorities to investigate over the next few days. As a close friend, I've been able to watch your online presence change and improve since you started. It was never bad, but your content delivery rivals that of someone like Mike's weather page. Thanks, Gabe. From a brother standpoint, that means a lot. I really appreciate that. Will a hurricane make landfall this year? Well, this year it already has. In terms of what's going on now, to be determined. We're still a ways out. We're forecast. I mean, honestly, guys, that's kind of been the name of the game with this channel. We were forecasting this about half a month out, and here it is. So let's see if we can, knock on wood. Let's see if we can keep this track record up, because we were predicting this. We've been talking about this for a long time. It was, I think, middle to late September. We were mentioning Friday the 13th. We got to get ready for some kind of bad weather. And here we go. This is it. It's knocking on our door, literally. So to infinity and beyond, let's make it to 10K, Lord willing. Elite Chief Stark, I'll hype that up till the day I die. We're hyping up, guys. I don't like hyping this up to cause fear. I'm just kidding. Gabriel, if you're still there, you know the insider. You portray yourself as someone with years of online experience. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Little bro flex, bro fist. Weather updates for Florida and frost watches for Central and North Florida. Also, ski report for the Northeast. Yeah, we're going to start really switching around soon. I have a feeling that tropical season is going to just cut off, and we have to immediately switch gears and go full wintertime forecasting, which I know my channel's going to take a hit. That's what I'm scared of, guys. I'm going to need some support through that, because we're going to go from one populace talking tropics to a whole different populace talking wintertime. And I know that for certain. I've already experimented here and there, and we were on par for maybe 6,000 to 10,000 views per tropical video. The moment I pop something off about United States or winter, down to like 2,000 to 3,000 views. So I'm going to need some support and some motivation to get through that. That's for sure. There's another one trying to form early next week in East Coast on Monday night and Tuesday. Yeah, that's the one that's hitting us right now. It's going to form up, and then it's going to deepen down as it heads towards Bermuda. So Bermuda is on my radar once again. I got lucky with a video that blew up and is hitting at 245. Wow, hell yeah, Ethan, that's awesome. Friday the 13th and Hype Day Friday on the same day. Stream will be juicy. Heck yeah, we got to get everybody in here as possible. I found you and I think you were as good as anyone out there. Riverstone Cabins, thank you very much. I work very hard to give you guys the best information that I can and communicate it to the best of my ability, while also throwing in some personality at the same time. Guess who's going to be knocking at your door soon? Oh, snap. I'm scared. Is it Jason, or is it going to be Michael Myers, or maybe both of them at the same time? Or maybe Jason will come through the front door and then Michael Myers will come through the back door. And that's not a joke for the internet to enjoy. That's not. I just realized that's not a joke for the internet to enjoy. And with that, we're going to go ahead and round out the stream. We're going to call it a night, guys. I will definitely see you Friday night at 8 p.m. Daniel, I pray that you're in there for us to join together again on Friday. Friday the 13th, when we go live, I'm telling you, there's going to be a special guest appearance, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Let's go ahead and check our live subscriber count just for the heck of it. Wow, look at that. 4,025 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. We are hitting another milestone, and you guys were here to witness it. So, there we go. Great time, great night, wonderful stream as always, everybody. Tomorrow we'll be back once again for our 6 p.m. evening update. We'll see what else has changed out there, not only over North America, but across the tropics. And then Friday night, you best believe, Friday the 13th is going to be definitely hype night. We got to hype it up like never before, because we have a special occasion and a lot of good reason to, especially with what could possibly change in the overall weather pattern over CONUS and over the out over the tropics. So there's still a lot to watch, a lot to talk about, a lot to theorize and hypothesize, and we're all going to do it together. Thank you again, Nazaria. Love your lives. Congratulations. This is Carmen signing out. Carmen, we'll talk to you very soon. Thanks for always popping in and being such a diligent viewer. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Nazaria. Keep up the good work. J Ski signing out. All right, everybody. Should we be scared on Friday? No, don't be scared, Daniel. Don't be scared. It's all in good fun. All in good fun. And then I got to start planning to shoot my next YouTube short for the Halloween Friday the 13th season. So, Exploding Toilet Chara signing out. Why do we care about the 13th? It's just, Friday night, we always hype it up just for the fun of it, to have a good time in the chat. And then it's Friday the 13th for our horror fans out there. That's the reason we're talking about Friday the 13th. Yep, not scared, Daniel, just hyped. We got to hype up. But all right, everybody, we'll see you again tomorrow. Full Weather Center segment. I'll try not to be as broad, but I know my days are limited. Not my day. Wow. I know my time is limited during the day, so I work hard to get as good of a video out to you guys as possible. And then Friday night, you best believe we're going to be back for our 8 p.m. Tropics Talk, our Hype Friday Night Live. with a bit of a twist for Friday the 13th. So thank you all for joining in. If you have any additional comments, please leave them in the comments section of either my main video segment or of this live stream. Happy to get back to you at my earliest convenience. I always make sure to answer all of my comments, questions, and concerns. So please feel free to drop me a line there. Or if you don't follow me on Instagram, WXCenter_Nazario, you're more than welcome to reach out to me on there and talk to me offline. Always welcome to have a conversation there. Whatever the case may be, I'm always happy to talk and interconnect with everybody. We'll see you again very soon. Everyone else has been signing out, which means there's only one thing left to do, and that means it's Weather Center Nazario. Wow, I almost messed up my thing. This is Weather Center Nazario, signing out.